Welcome to this session on decision making. One thing that every entrepreneur quickly learns after starting their business is how many decisions have to be made to run a business. Every day there are just so many questions that are being asked by your employees, by your customers. Can you do this? How do we handle that? Should we do this? And everything comes back to you. You have to make the decisions. And so becoming really good at making decisions when you don't always have all of the facts, all of the information will be helpful to you. It'll take a lot of stress off you, and it'll help you navigate your business along the road towards your vision better. And so there are a few things to think about. It's kind of building blocks, decision making really. And it starts with, the first thing is the problem. What is the problem or the question that we're trying to solve here? Defining the problem correctly is the first step. So some people will define if you define your problem too broadly, then you may end up with making a decision that isn't the best decision. So take the time to really zero in on what exactly is the problem we're trying to solve. So invest the time that you need to do that. The second step as you go up is objectives. So in answering this question or in solving this problem, what are the objectives that are important to us? What are the things that we're trying to attain in making a decision here? The next area is, what are the options? So in solving this problem, I can do A, or I can do B, or do C, or maybe D, E, F. Maybe there are a lot of options that we have on directions we could go with this decision. So you have to outline what are the options and then determine what are the probable outcomes. If I take path A, what will that result in, and path B, and how does it line up with my objectives? And then ultimately that leads you to step 5, which is making a decision. And again, many times you don't have all of the information you want, so you need to manage it as best you can. And so I'm going to provide a little bit of a grid that you can use. Sometimes if it's a complex decision or a very expensive decision, you may want to take the time to actually write out this grid. Other times, if it's a simpler decision doesn't cost that much money, you just may do this grid sort of in your mind. And it starts, again, like we said, is the problem definition. So writing that out, what is the problem we're trying to solve? We need to purchase a new piece of equipment to optimize our production to be able to meet the needs of a new customer or a growing customer base. Maybe that's the problem we're trying to solve. And then you just break it down and you put objectives over here. And you put your options over here. And so first thing you want to do is define your objectives. Maybe I have 3 objectives. And so my first objection is it needs to be affordable. Maybe I'll just put price. So the price is one objective. It needs to last a long time, this new piece of equipment. So longevity maybe. And then let's say that another one is productivity. The productivity of the machine. How many, products is it able to stamp out in 1 hour or whatever it may be. So then we go down to our options and we say there's, machine A, let's call it the XT25 is one that we could buy. And then there's another one called the YZB, and another one called the ABC machine. So there's these 3 machines that we could purchase for this. One of them costs $1,000, one of them costs $1,500, another one costs $2,000. And let's say this one will last 5 years, and this one will last 6 years, and this one will last 7 years, something like that. And then productivity, this one will produce 10,000 units per week. This one will produce 12,000 units per week, and this one will produce 20,000 units per week. And so ultimately, you make this grid, and it allows you to see the things that are important. And so we won't go through it now, the trade-offs and things that you would have to think through, but you might analyze this, and depending on what your budget is, and then how long you want it to last, how many units it would produce in that time, and you could analyze, okay, how much does it cost me per unit, and figure out which one of these is the better machine for me to buy. And so this is a great model. You define the problem, you line up your objectives. Price is something that's important, for an objective we need to address. The longevity of the machine is another one, and how much the machine will produce in an hour or a week or a month. And then you list the options you have. Here's the 3 different machines that we could buy for this one. And then you plug in all the numbers. Those are the outcomes. And then it allows you to make a decision. So you see the outcomes here, and then you make a decision based on all of those variables. And so it's a nice, clean, simple way to make complicated or simple decisions. So good luck with it. I wish you the best. And it can be applied to any decision. It doesn't have to be machines. It could be whether to hire an employee. It could be whether to enter a new market. It could be how to change your sales process. Whatever it may be, you can apply this model to anything. So good luck.